Hi, this is Jason Porter, business coach with My Business Advisor with your business tip today. We're talking market research. Surveys are usually the way people think about doing market research, which is great. Surveys can be really effective if you do them right. So let's talk about how to create an effective survey. First, you got to know what question you want answered. We talked about this before, but this is super important. You should have one question you want to get answered and focus the whole survey on getting that question explored, answered in full. So to determine on your method of administration, how are you going to give out this survey? It's going to do a lot with what you're going to create. Is it going to be a face-to-face? Are you going to call them up? Are you just going to email it to them? Is it going to be on your social media? So how is this going to be administered to people? Next, determine the questions carefully. You got to be very careful about how you're asking questions so you're not leading them down the garden path. You do not want to have biased questions. It wants to be neutral, and they need to be effective to get you the answer you need. Also, don't ask too many. I see that way too often. 5, that's usually all you're ever going to need. 10 at the most. So fewer questions is better. Just make sure they're point on point. Now determine your answers. You're going to put a lot of thought into question. How are they going to answer it? Easy mistake to make is biased answers. So let's say, the top 2 are positive and then a neutral and then 1 negative. Well, now you're biasing towards a positive answer. That's why you see the 5, strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. It's a prime example of doing it right. So make sure your answers are not biased, that you're not leading them into the way you want to do it. And then determine your wording carefully. I know we just evaluated answers and questions, but every single word, evaluate it. Make sure there is no confusion whatsoever. You know what you're thinking, but how do you know that they know what you're thinking? So you got to make sure every word, you're not using industry jargon, you're not using confusing terms, everything's worded in such a way that there's no question as to what you're trying to ask. And then determine what it looks like. If you want people to take your survey, it should look professional. We don't need to spend thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. But really, if you're going to have it as a paper survey, make sure it's decent paper and it looks nice on the paper. Make sure your graphics are well put together if you're doing it on a survey, on email, or on your social media, and that your script is really good if you're doing telephone calls. So it should be presented very well. And last, test it before you invest in it. You're spending a ton of time on this and you want to get good answers, but send out a small sample, make sure it's not confusing. Find some very word savvy individuals to go through it and just give it a try, see how it works and see if there's any points where people were confused or you're not getting the types of information that you were hoping to get out of it. So there you go. That's how to craft an effective survey. Your business tip today with My Business Advisor.